First at 4, firefighters are at the scene of a house fire. This is in the town of Madison.
This is happening right now on Munn Road off Badger and Rimrock Roads, and our Chris Goffner is there with the latest. Chris?
Eric and Susan, the smoke has died down considerably, but the damage has been done. Take a look. This house, this roof of this house at 380 Munn Road is destroyed. Significant damage here as town of Madison firefighters remain on the scene, putting out some hot spots. This wind has certainly not helped their firefighting efforts today, but the good news here is this. The woman who was inside this house is okay. She was able to get out. One person inside that house, that woman is fine. Neighbors say at the time she didn't even know there was a fire, and they were able to pull her out of there. Luckily, good news there. Now, neighbors say the fire appeared to originate from the roof of this house. Firefighters responding here just after 2 today here on Munn Road, just east of Rimrock Road, south of the Beltline in the town of Madison. Firefighters, of course, have certainly had to deal with the elements today. Take a listen to the town of Madison Fire Chief Dave Bloom. Tell me how this wind is making it a tough firefight.
Well, you put water on the flames and you knock it down, and the wind gusts up and it flares right back up.
Neighbors tell us the woman who lives here is obviously shaken up. They describe her as an older woman. Firefighters say they believe her pet iguana is still inside the house. But again, the woman who lives here is okay. Good news there. Firefighters say, of course, they could be here for the next couple of hours as they continue to deal with the hot spots and uncooperative elements, to say the least, as well as the construction of this house also made it difficult for them to get this fire contained. Obviously, significant damage here. No word on a damage estimate, although obviously you can see that it's significant, and this woman will be out of the house. We will hear from the neighbor who made the 911 call and helped get that woman out of this house, coming up tonight on News 3 at 5.
All right, that's Chris Goffner live in the town of Madison. Chris, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. State Assembly leaders take action against a lawmaker facing sexual misconduct allegations.
And despite calls to resign, though, Representative Josh Zepnick says he's not going anywhere. Charlotte DeLeste in our news center with more. Charlotte?
Eric and Susan, state assembly leaders today removed Representative Josh Zepnick from all of his committees after 2 women came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct. The 2 women claimed Zepnick kissed them at a 2011 candidate party and at the 2015 Democratic Convention. Assembly Minority Leader Gordon Hintz asked Assembly Leader Robin Vos to remove Zepnick from the 5 committees he was serving on this session, and Vos complied with the request. In a statement to News 3, Representative Hintz says, "We take the allegations made against Representative Zepnick very seriously, and that moving forward, Hintz is consulting with Democrats and Republicans to ensure this issue is addressed appropriately." We reached out to Zepnick for comment today, but have yet to hear back.
All right, Charlotte DeLeste in our news center. Charlotte, thanks for the update.
The longest-serving lawmaker on Capitol Hill announced today that he is retiring from Congress. Michigan Democrat John Conyers says he's stepping down, but not because of allegations that he sexually harassed former female staffers, which he denies. On the House floor, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee read a statement from Conyers.
Given the totality of the circumstance of not being afforded the right of due process in conjunction with current health conditions, and to preserve my legacy and good name, I am retiring.
Conyers called into a Detroit radio show to announce he is retiring and said his legacy cannot be compromised or diminished in any way by what we're going through now.
With one lawmaker accused of sexual misconduct on the way out, another may be voted into Congress. We're 1 week away now from the special election for Alabama's open Senate seat, and today, Republican candidate Judge Roy Moore received another big boost. The Republican National Committee announced it is supporting him and will once again start spending money on his behalf. It comes a day after Moore received an endorsement from President Trump. At least 9 women claim the candidate groped, dated, or pursued them, including Debbie Gibson, who yesterday showed the Washington Post a high school graduation card she says was from Moore.
We dated for a brief time, and we kissed with my consent, and I'm very sad that he's decided to say he doesn't know me.
Moore says he doesn't know any of the women and denies all of the allegations. He'll hit the campaign trail tonight with Steve Bannon by his side.
Several wind-driven wildfires have burned down more than 100 homes in Southern California and are threatening thousands more. The largest north of Los Angeles has destroyed more than 50,000 acres. Chris Martinez reports from Ventura County. A psychiatric hospital is among several businesses damaged by the fires, and air quality warnings are in effect now because of the heavy smoke from the fires. The state's drunk driving laws would get a lot tougher under a measure being considered at the state capitol.
And drivers who have a certain number of OWI offenses could lose their licenses permanently under the bill. Rose Schmidt is here to tell us what would change. Rose?
Well, Eric and Susan, under a current law, a driver whose license gets suspended can apply for an occupational license, which restricts when and where they can drive, like to and from work. This bill would take away driving privileges permanently if someone has either 4 OWI offenses or 2 OWIs and 2 qualifying convictions. At a public hearing today, the bill's author, Representative John Spiros, said he's heard stories from people whose family members were killed in drunk driving incidents, and something has to be done.
Somebody chooses to drink and drive. I think when you get to the 4th time, I mean, there should have been enough lesson in there, and there needs to be some type of penalty. The main thing behind the penalty is to stop people from doing it.
Representative Beth Myers posed questions about rural areas, suggesting that not having a driver's license could ruin someone's livelihood without having a way to get to work. Currently, someone convicted of driving with a revoked license could face a year of jail time and a $2,500 fine, but that would go up to $10,000 with this measure. The Committee on Transportation would have to take a vote before this bill could move forward.
We'll continue to follow it. Rose Schmidt reporting. Thanks, Rose.
There are new questions tonight about whether Russia will compete in the upcoming Winter Olympic Games in South Korea. The International Olympic Committee has banned Russia from the Games in Pyeongchang over the allegations of systemic state-sponsored doping program at the Sochi Games. That was in 2014. The IOC says, quote, clean Russian athletes will be invited to compete, but under the Olympic flag, not with the national flag or anthem. Russia could refuse the offer and simply boycott the games altogether. Russian President Vladimir Putin has previously said it would be humiliating for Russia to compete without national symbols.
There's more at 4. When we come back, it is one of the most closely watched cases in front of the Supreme Court.
The justices heard from a Colorado baker who refused to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. We'll talk with a UW political science professor about the potential impact of this case. That's when Live at 4 continues.